Okay, the djembe has three basic sounds: bass, tone, and slap. To achieve the bass tone, we want to line up our palm with the core of the surface. And we'll just lay our hand flat and we'll lift our fingers up, even our thumb. And then we're going to let them drop down, and then we're going to lift them up just a tiny bit so that only we can feel the palm aligned with the core. So now we're going to lift with our wrist, and when we land down, we're going to land on the core and our fingers are going to be up and our hand bounces off. Okay, so now to get the tone, the open tone, I'm going to close my fingers and I make a triangle with my hand, and I'm going to bring it down to where the ridge lines up with the crust, and I'm going to separate them a little tiny bit. So my hands are flat on the mantle. My fingers are flat on the mantle. And notice my thumbs aren't down, my hands, my knuckles aren't bent down so that my hands are down. We always want to be up and straight, keeping our back straight and our hands at an equal distance apart. So I'm going to lift up with my hand and I'm going to land and land the ridge on the crust and let the fingers bounce off the mantle. Okay, so another term that I use in describing patterns as well is hand for hand. That's where I'm going to go right hand to my left hand, right, and then left and back and forth. Hand for hand, back and forth. There's no doubling up of the pattern. Okay, so the next sound is the slap, and the slap can be achieved two ways: with the heel and with the ridge. So to make a slap with the heel, you move your hands from the tone position to the slap position, and that's where they're closer together. And then I'm going to lay my hand flat, my thumbs are close, and I'm going to lift my knuckles so that my toes are only touching. And I'm going to lift up here, and I'll lift up here. Okay, there'll be some warm-up exercises that will help develop the slaps. Okay, so I'm gonna lift up with my fingers. When I did my tone and my bass, I lifted with my wrist. So now I'm lifting with my fingers up, and I'm landing the crust. I'm landing on the crust, the heel, and the toes are landing kind of like up here in the inner, like kind of where the core and the mantle meet, and it's landing down. And only this is touching, and this is touching the surface of the drum. And even if I bring my hand in a little more, notice my hands kind of like they land here when I do that. And that's probably the best way to get the sound from the heel. Now the other way is to go to the ridge and land the same place, but lift these knuckles so where the toes are touching. And so we're doing this. We lift up, we hover, and okay, so we have bass, we have tone, and we have slap. Bass, tone, and slap.